Welcome back to the Reapers. This is not Cap, this is Dove. And I am sitting in the most beautiful plane ever made, the F-86F Sabre. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit about the cockpit here. It's pretty simple. This is a high fidelity model, so everything in here works. But there's not a whole lot of it because it was made in 1949, I believe. So it's a fairly simple airplane to fly, and it is a lot of fun. So we'll start on the left here. Alright, these are all these little things here. They all work, but you don't ever need to touch them. This down here is a rocket intervalometer. This shows you which one is set to fire, which one is not, which one is fused to fire. So you always leave it on one. And if you look, after you fire them, look down here, it'll show you how many you've got left. If you loaded 8 and it shows 7, you've got one more, or actually 2 more. But it's hard to see. Windshield anti-ice, yeah, it works, but it doesn't freeze, so don't worry about it. Cockpit air temperature, doesn't matter, you're virtual. Same thing here, all this stuff. Cockpit pressure, rudder trim switch. Lateral alternate trim switch. Left mouse. I have no idea. Never done any of those, so I don't know. Those are more backup. Windshield anti-icing lever. Flight control switch. This is part of the startup procedure. You'll hit this once your engine is up to speed. This is the throttle. Speed brake. Electrical caging button. Very important to know what that is and what's different between that and the mechanical caging button. Microphone switch for your radio. If you lose your radar, you can still use this for manual distancing control for the gyro for the gun sight. I haven't messed with it yet, but I guess it does work if you're inclined to use it. These are just lights showing you which guns you have on. When you start up, it is off. Switch it to upper guns, mid guns, lower guns, or all. If you want to save ammunition and only fire 2 guns at once, that's how you do it. Or you put them all and throw down 6 50 caliber machine guns. Okay, throttle. You know how throttle works. It has 2 idle switches for when you do go to start. I'll show you that at the end, but you gotta do that twice to get it to idle before you can actually put thrust in. Flaps, you know what flaps are. It's what they are. They are push and hold to go to where you want. They don't just automatically go to a set position. Bomb, rocket, tank, jettison button. Drops everything. Outboard drop tank empty light. When that lights up, that means your tanks are empty and you drop them. This is how you select them. If you have it on all tanks off, that's only interior, outboard, inboard. That means you have your external tanks on. And let's see, what are those? Those are just right and left inboard. Even more control if you want it. If you have no tanks, there. If you have the inboard ones, there. Outboard ones, there. You'll know because you'll have external tanks on, and when you flip the switch to it, this light will not be on. That means you get gas there. Leave it on there. When that light comes up, drop the tank. Switch it to internal. The landing gear warning. Landing gear warning horn cutout button. Never heard it, but button to turn it off. Landing lights. Pitot heater, engine anti-ice. Probably doesn't actually work, but there it is. Parking brake, canopy close switch. Okay, that's the left side, including the manual bombing control. I haven't done it yet. There it is. Up top, this is the missile control. It was just kind of added on here because missiles were just kind of added on to the airplane. Tone volume makes that whiny noise louder or quieter. That's a test to see if the light comes on. If you're going too high at G's to fire the missile, that will be on. And the missile to fire. And when they first put these on here, they put two. The right-hand missile was a dummy missile with a flare on the end. So you would fire that to practice, and then you would switch it to left hand and fire the left hand, the actual missile. That's why it has right hand. Then left hand and right hand fires the left hand first, then the right hand. Salvo fires both. You probably won't ever want to do that. Safe launch. When you want to get rid of them, hit that button, it fires them, they don't explode. Okay, some more stuff up on the hood. You know what that is. This is stuff for the radar. This will show when the radar actually is picking up something. That doesn't do anything. This is the radar range sweep rheostat. This is how large of a cone the radar scans for. If it's at the maximum, it's a bigger circle out in front of you to scan. You turn it smaller, it'll be a smaller one. So if there's clutter, you can use that to target more into an airplane. That's the range from you to your target. I believe it is in hundreds of feet. So it's not a lot of distance on there, but it will tell you how far away you are when you're shooting guns. Sight bombing altimeter index. This is for the manual bombing stuff. I haven't done any of that yet, but that's what it is. I should probably learn to do that stuff. It's pretty interesting the way the manual stuff works. The A4, the radar A4 sight, wingspan adjustment. If you lose the radar, this is what you use to adjust for the wingspan of your target airplane. If you're going after a big old bear bomber, you're going to be way up here. You're going to turn this to where you think the distance is. I don't know how it works, really, but that's how you do it. And you'll put the pipper on, because the gyro still works even without the radar, so it will still sort of track. The manual caging button. This is the mechanical caging button. This is the first thing you switch. You're out there, you got your guns on, you're ready to fight. Uncage it. That will make it start to sway. That will lock it tight, because it's pretty delicate. The gyro can be damaged pretty easily, so you want it caged when you're not actually in a fight. Dimmer for the gun sight. That is all of it up there. Mirror. Okay, the front. Actually, the lower left here. Oxygen. Turn your oxygen on so you don't die if you go up high. That is the amount of oxygen you're getting and all that stuff in there. Emergency jettison handle. That's another one. Goes along with this one. This one doesn't work. Bang, there it goes. Landing gear. Landing gear emergency up. If they don't come up automatically, you hold that button until they pop up. As you go faster and faster, they will go up. Emergency fuel, that goes with if you have a flame out. You don't always use it, but there it is. If you need the emergency fuel, there it is. Hydraulic pressure, main instrument 3-phase, inverter failure warning light. Oh, that's if you lose all your instruments there. Same with this here, another warning. Radar fails, takeoff trim position, I don't use it. There it is if you need it. Hydraulic pressure, you're going to want that in normal. Utility, I have no idea what that is. Alternate if your regular brakes. This light here, when you first start, will be on. Because it is on, it automatically goes to the alternate. When it gets fast enough, you switch this to reset it to normal. I'll show you that at the end. Lots and lots of stuff. Even though it's a pretty simple airplane, there's still a lot of dials and things. The speedometer in Mach, you'll only really go up to about here before you start having compressor problems and you can't turn. If it goes above that, you're going to break the engine. Radio compass, that's what you're going to use to navigate with this radio here. Voltometer for your battery and all that other things, all your electrical stuff here. The load that your airplane is using. Generator warning if it's broken. A clock. Altimeter. Just plain old regular barometric altimeter. Speedometer in knots. Nautical miles per hour. This is another one of these, you know, everybody talks about them. Horizontal one. This one you can adjust. It's pretty neat. It tells you which way you're going. Slip. That would be the accelerometer going up and down. Artificial horizon. Wait a minute. No, this is the G forces. This is your G's. This is your climb rate. Let's see. Let's go back to cabin pressure, fuel. It's just a complete full thing here. Doesn't matter if you're on tanks or not. If you put it on tanks, it'll go all the way to the top. Exhaust pressure, exhaust temperature. That will be your RPMs. Goes up to 50, 50 to 100. This is your cruising RPM. That's where you want to try to keep your airplane when you're just flying. Like most planes, you don't want to have it at 100% all the time. This is for the lab system. This is very, very confusing and hard to learn, and you don't need to because they did not develop the nuclear bomb. So this would just be fun to learn to drop regular bombs, and this is what you would use. If you really want to learn about it, you can read up on it. You'll set it all up, you'll find your target, and you'll do a roll, you'll do a climb, and you will keep that center right in the middle. Fuel flow, how much fuel you're using. The stick, bomb release, trim, sight radar target selector button, because it may not look like it when I show it to you, but the little sight does pick a target. Up front nose wheel steering button, all the way up front, the machine gun button, which also fires the missiles when you have them loaded. Okay, that doesn't work. Bomb target wind control. Adjust for wind. Not many planes have that. This one does. Instrument power switch. It's the alternate. Leave that on normal unless you need to. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Landing gear emergency release. It's way the hell down there, but if it doesn't go down, you need it. And it's all the way down there. Not a good place for it. Okay, what is filament selector switch? You'll probably never touch it. Bombs. Diffusing. You know what diffusing does. Nose, tail, both. Or is it just... Okay, that's nose, tail. Off. And what is the middle? I don't know. Leave it on nose, tail at the top. Dropper bombs. Left. Right. Both. Off. Safe. Auto release. Manual release. I always use manual. I don't like the automatic. It never hits. I can never get it to work. Fuse delay. I don't know why you'd want it. Leave it. When your rockets hit, they explode. Jettison ready to rockets. You don't want to do that, really. Take them home with you or shoot them at somebody. When you go to shoot your rockets, you lift this up. Left click down means it will continue to fire as you hold a button. Middle is off. Right click, it fires one at a time. Do whatever you think you need to do at the time. Gun heater. And if it's cold, turn it on to heat your guns up. Normally you won't because they overheat pretty easy and they start going crazy and start shooting like a shotgun. This gun missile selector switch, basically this is your master arm switch. Off, nothing. Sight camera and radar, that's going to turn your sight on, your radar on, and your camera. Guns, your guns. Missile, your missile. You need to put it on missile to fire those. This will fire the guns. This you will use when you're bombing. And possibly rockets. You don't have to, you can still use the guns one. Legitimately, this is what they used. You're flying, you shoot someone down with your guns to get credit for your kill. You switch that to sight camera and radar, you follow them until you've got proof that they're going down by holding the button down, recording more videotape of them till they hit the ground. That's what that's for. Alright, over to the right side. Another canopy alternate emergency jettison handle. There's another one down here. There's two of them to blow off the canopy. Engine master switch, battery. The battery is not powerful enough to start the engine. The starter motor is too much for it to start. So you have to use ground electrical power to do that. But you will still turn it to battery to start. And you will have to hit starter to get it to go. So when you do get it started, you get power, you turn the engine on, start, switch to battery. You have enough for interior stuff, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Stop starter button, push to de-energize the starter in case of malfunction. I just did. Clears out the starter motor. Generator switch, don't touch it. Fuel, whatever the hell that is, don't touch it. It does something. You probably don't never need it. In-air ignition switch. Your engine goes out, it stalls out. You try to start it with this. That doesn't work. And you go to the emergency fuel. And try it again. There's a lot of other stuff you need to do if the engine stops, but that usually will get it started. Compass light switch. It's up here. Exterior lighting dimmer. Position fuselage lighter switch. On, off, flashing. Bright, dim. Did I do that one? Turn it hydraulic emergency handle. I don't think I explained that, but that's what it is. Here is the inside lights. Instrument panel, console, and instrument panel primary light rheostat. Because it's old. It has rheostats. Yeah, this is your communication radio here. It's preset radio channels. Turn it to transmit and receive. There's your volume. There's some other stuff you can use with it, but that's all anybody uses it for, to talk to other people. This is the one used for navigation. It's a lot like all the others, especially the UH-1 Huey. What you gotta do is you got to turn it on. Usually just do it to comp. Don't mess with most of those. You want the volume so you can identify the Morse code that comes through. This will change. Well, it doesn't have power, but this will change the higher numbers of your frequency. And this is what you use to dial it. Oh boy, my cursor disappeared. Hold on a second. Okay, no cursor. I'll try to point it closer to you. That's that. Then when you talk to people, there's the IFF. It doesn't actually work. Those things back there don't actually work. There are more fuses, just like on the other side. And making sure that is it. That is the cockpit of the F-86F Sabre.